Hi, I'm Dr. Tyce Hergert, Vice President of your Texas Chiropractic Association, and I wanted to share some thoughts with you that are particularly relevant to all of us at this time for our profession in Texas. In the recent 2015 Gallup-Palmer inaugural report, Americans' Perception of Chiropractic, several things jump off the page at me. According to the study, over half of the U.S. adults have seen a chiropractor, and over a quarter of all U.S. adults would choose a chiropractor first for neck or back pain. What's even more exciting is that the majority of U.S. adults, about 61%, think doctors of chiropractic are effective at treating neck and back pain. Couple these stats with overwhelming research that shows safety, effectiveness, cost savings, all of these things that chiropractic has to offer, and this is a no-brainer. It sounds like a huge opportunity to me. Yet, when you look at the profession as a whole, listening to the beat on the street, it's not screaming opportunity. You hear stories from good doctors selling their practices, seeking out other careers. There are many doctors struggling financially in practice, many even defaulting on their student loans. DCs today are graduating from chiropractic college with enormous student loan burdens and are weighing their options of either rolling the dice by building a startup clinic or accepting a position as an employee in a clinic for a meager salary. These factors may contribute to why enrollment in chiropractic colleges isn't exactly at an all-time high. And in Texas, with a law that doesn't allow you to practice to the level of your education and training, and numerous attacks aimed at narrowing your ability to practice, the struggle may be even more real. We have DCs being paraded in front of the medical board for impersonating a physician, like it was the 1950s. Some Texas DCs are even moving to other states for fear of what may be in store. One healthcare consultant shared this with me a few months ago. He said, "Doc, in Texas, an average MD who gets out of school and gets a job at a hospital can in 10 years be making an extraordinary living. He can know nothing at all about business and still do quite well. That's how the system's set up for them. That just isn't true for your profession, Doc. You have to be extraordinary at practice and extraordinary at business to make a decent living." While I think this consultant totally underestimates the resolve of most chiropractors, I think he does have a point. Then when you add in the intraprofessional bickering and DCs attacking or even suing other DCs, it can get to be a little much for most of us. So what do? Some choose to ignore it. Others put their head in the sand, while others whine and complain. A few may even give up altogether. See, that's the thing about losing. It can become a habit. If you're not careful, you can get good at losing. But for some, the turmoil can act like a smelling salt. It can wake you up. We know that chiropractic is the answer for many healthcare problems, and the public wants it. As Dr. Jim Parker used to say, it's naturally right. And I know it sounds crazy, but what if I could help make this better? What if we could help change all of this for the better? Crazier yet, what if we had some success doing just that and the profession began to believe it and really get behind it? During the last legislative session in Texas, as it seems true most legislative sessions, we were fighting for our legislative lives. We were being attacked on our ability to perform basic exams on school kids. Sounds like a pretty insignificant fight on the surface, but if the opposition could take away our ability to do these most basic exams, then every other type of exam would then follow suit. See, our message was really simple. Here is what we are educated and trained to do. Here is how our education compares to other doctors and providers. And here's our track record. Not one complaint from a student or a parent. It began to be like a drumbeat. Hearing after hearing, testimony after testimony. You don't think we can do DOT physicals? Okay, well here's our education and training. You don't think we should be assessing concussions? Okay, here's our education and training. You don't think we should be able to use an ear looker? Here's our education and training. And it's called an otoscope, doctor. What became crystal clear is that although the public needs us and wants us and can't wait to see what we have to offer, the public still doesn't understand the level of education and training that doctors of chiropractic receive. They don't get it, And remember, the legislature is filled with members of the public. Unless someone has spelled it out for them, shown them the physician-level training that DCs receive, they assume that it is nowhere near that of even a mid-level provider. We cannot minimize our doctoral and postdoctoral training. It's extraordinary. And until the public is fully aware, we'll continue to struggle with a public perception that we went to some sort of Votech school and made a choice between chiropractic and TV VCR repair. You know, Palmer's study and research goes a long way, but it's up to us to spread that message. We are not technicians. We are not adjusters. We are not back poppers or quacks. We are doctors of chiropractic, and that includes all of us. And while we may choose different methods, specialties, techniques, styles, payments, the patients need every one of us and then some. It's crucial that we wake up as a profession and rise to the task. Our future depends upon it. In Texas, you know, it's no secret that our law needs some work. It's time that we modernize our Chiropractic Act. With the constant attacks in the legislature, numerous lawsuits over the last decade, multiple attacks of our board, it's time we fix the problem. Our law doesn't provide clarity for licensees, the public, or for regulators. The terminology is over 30 years old, and while it was good for many years, you know, in today's healthcare world, we need more. Our law needs to address our doctoral and postdoctoral education and training using modern terms that everybody understands. In 33 other states, DCs are physicians, and at one point in Texas we were as well. So we have some real work to do here. Already, there's been a considerable amount of work done drafting language that helps solve some of the problems, provides clarity, and models laws that work in other states, not just for DCs, but for patients and everyone involved, including government regulators. We don't claim to have all of the answers. So, you know, it is important that DCs provide their feedback as we go through this preparation period. Leading up to the upcoming 2017 legislative session, we are assembling a team to get the job done. There will be an opportunity for the schools, the association, various groups within the profession, and the profession as a whole to have meaningful discussion and prepare for what is ahead. In the upcoming months, there will be a bunch of discussion about how we're regulated. Next session is our sunset session. If you're unfamiliar, in Texas, every state agency is subject to what's called a sunset review about every 12 years. The committee meets, they review the agency, TBCE, and determine if it serves its purpose and it's doing its job, or if it can be lumped in with another agency. See, here's the rub this session. There are many other healthcare agencies up for sunset at the same time as our board. The danger here is that the legislature could see this as an opportunity to create what's called a super board. When you look at some of the federal implications to licensing boards, like what went on with the FTC investigating the North Carolina Dental Board, there could be a real push in the direction of a super board. Now, you can imagine if that super board had 15 MDs and only one DC, this would be super bad, right? And you can imagine TMA, the most militant, anti-chiropractic, anti-competitive organization in the world, would be behind the scenes throwing every bit of their energy and money and muscle around to try to limit our ability to exist. However, if we had a board with equal representation for all professions, this may be an opportunity as it has been in other states. So, what will it take? A serious strategic change must occur as we prepare for the 2017 session, because this will affect us all for many years to come. In years past, we could always say, well, worst case scenario, we'll have the act we currently have, and we can live with that. This time around, it's likely to be more of a perfect storm or a perfect disaster. If we sit back, are apathetic, and don't come together as a profession, disaster awaits. On the other hand, if we wake up with terrible resolve, what we do right now will make a positive difference for many years to come. Now, this will take some serious teamwork, as I've said. Many may just have to agree to set their differences aside until we can emerge victorious as a profession. Although this could be one of the largest challenges our profession has faced in many decades, I have no doubt we can do this, and we are assembling the team to get it done. Now, what can each of us do? Number one, engage in the process. Help engage your friends, colleagues, and patients in what's going on. Stay informed. Share the information with your friends. Number 2, ensure that every DC in Texas is a member of their state association. Numbers speak volumes, and we need to crank up the volume. Number 3, stand up, show up, and speak up. No one is going to do the work for you. Your patients need to know how this affects them. Your legislators need to hear from their constituents that chiropractic is important to them, that it's beneficial to them, and you need to show up at certain times and stand up for your profession. Number 4, contribute. This will take money, lots of money. And just like a building campaign for a church or a school, one-time contributions from rich benefactors, they're great. We'll accept them, but they just don't come along that often. It's the sustained donations from members like you that pours the foundation and ensures completion of the project. Many already contribute regularly and have for years. We thank you, but ask that all of us do a little bit more if we can. If you don't have the money to contribute, you can contribute your time and energy, but everyone can contribute something. Why do I not doubt that our profession can do this? Because I know the heart of our profession. I believe we have the most loving, heart-filled profession in healthcare. We love what we do, and our patients love us. Chiropractors do tend to be a little rebellious by nature. We don't mind going against the grain. That's what makes us great. Why else would DCs throughout history be willing to go to jail to protect their rights and their patients' rights? It's because in their heart, it was the right thing to do. The Reverend Billy Graham said, "I can show you where a person's heart is if you let me spend 5 minutes with their checkbook." At this critical point for our profession, I want to ask you, doctor to doctor, where's your heart, doc? Are you doing everything you can to ensure that there's a perfect storm versus a perfect disaster? The legendary Japanese general Yamamoto said, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." On the other hand, the incomparable Vince Lombardi stated, "Show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser." Doc, are we waking up as a sleeping giant or are we a good loser? I want us to be the sleeping giant, and I hope you do too. How about we make a difference together? Will you commit to helping me? It's a pleasure to serve as a member of Team TCA. I want to thank all of you for making this profession great. Thank you so much.